3.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew here on Brew Sports. It is a Wednesday edition of the program. It is Hump Day, baby. That is the best day of the week. Not only are we almost done with the week, but we're almost halfway through the week. I don't know. It's Wednesday. It's an odd day in the week, so day 3 of 5. So I mean, you're halfway there, but you're also still halfway towards the beginning of the week at the same time. It's very confusing depending on how you break it down. But we're going to go towards the right side of the week and go towards Friday and all that fun business. So I'm excited. I get to go to Florida today. I have 3 shows standing between myself and a ticket to sunny, beautiful Naples, Florida. I can't even wait. I'm so excited. I think someone that's more excited is to go home and actually get to sleep for a couple of days. That's Jaymee Evers. It is Jaymee. Good morning. How are you? How are you doing today?
I am wonderful.
Oh,
how are you?
Phenomenal. I'm doing good. I'm very excited. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I'm a little tired. I was up late last night. I had a couple of friends come over and we played Super Smash Bros. For like 4 hours, but it was phenomenal.
On 64?
On GameCube.
Ooh.
On GameCube, yes.
Okay.
I know. And we had an issue, too. We were all set to go at like 8 o'clock last night, and then the disc didn't decide to work in one person's
course.
GameCube. But the other friend of mine is like, oh, I've got another GameCube. I'm like, of course you do. So he ran to his girlfriend's to pick up his GameCube and then came back. While that friend was gone, my other friend and I ended up watching Morning Brew and halftime videos because we had nothing better to do. We watched prank calls. It was a lot of fun. Then he finally came back. Then we finally played Smash Bros. But we drank a lot at the same time.
Good.
And had popcorn.
Sounds like a...
It was a good bros night.
I saw someone's Facebook status yesterday, and it was like 7 things that I like won't date a girl because of, and one of them was eat popcorn. I thought that was very
I'm
strange.
sorry, what?
Yeah.
Eating popcorn? Popcorn is phenomenal.
Yeah, it said eating popcorn and drinking MGD and then like a bunch of other things.
Well, MGD I can understand. I mean, I was an MGD?
MGD.
I was an MGDer for a while. And then I was like, what is this real alcohol you speak of? Or what is this craft beer business you speak of? And I'm like, aha, I love it. MGD was like, I have $3. Can I have one drink, please?
Yeah.
Like, I'll take an MGD. Thank you very much, Mr. Bartender. But, all right, well, we got some good business to get after today. Some Game 7s taking place in the NHL playoffs tonight. Anaheim, Edmonton, and also Washington and Pittsburgh. Those games all taking place tonight. They will also decide then if they will go and place and take on either Ottawa, who won last night, or if they will go play Nashville as well, too. So we are very excited about that to see. Max Wolpoff is going to be here in a little while, one of our NHL insiders, to help us break it all down for those 2 very important Game 7s. Of course, we do have a couple of questions of the day today, and nice and easy. But also a little controversy as well, too. People have been a little fired up about this. Apparently here in Wisconsin, I've heard they've done it in other states as well, too. They're starting to ban cell phones in high schools for the students, not necessarily for the teachers. So I want to ask the question, should they be banned in high schools? People have been going back and forth on this. And
Yes.
also the other one is, yes, yeah. And I've also wanted to ask the question, are Game 7s overrated?
No.
Because I feel like they happen all the time. Everyone's like, Game 7! Like, it takes forever. It really does. And like, no one's got like 2.5 weeks to dedicate to one series.
Yeah, that's
no one does. Like, it gets a little boring. I forget that half the series are still going on. I thought Ottawa was done with their series. I thought, the fact that I've been following, of course, the 2 series that are in Game 7s, but I was like, they're still going on. Get over with it. Make it done. Best of 5. Here's one and done. There we go. Problem solved. Everybody wins. Woo!
Do you think if NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs weren't at the same time, that they would be more likely to go to 5s quicker?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's obviously this is the dead time of the year because the cash grab that is the NFL isn't going on right now.
Right.
So it doesn't, everybody else is like, we can play 7-game series and no one's going to bat an eye. Well, yeah, people are batting eyes with tears in them because they're like, please make it stop. It's too long.
Depends who you are, Baxter. Depends who you are.
Would you really want a 7-game series for Nashville? You would just be like, can we just take care of business in 3 or 4? Be on our way.
Yeah, but if there was still the hope in there that they, obviously there's a hope, that's why it goes to Game 7. But the fact that they could advance, absolutely, I'll watch them for.
Get excited, get hyped.
7.
Well, obviously, if you're the player or if you're some of those things, then yes, that makes more sense to me. So those are the 2 big questions today. A couple of folks already chiming in. Jeff says, popcorn is the best. I agree. I made popcorn in our little whirly pop on the stovetop last night.
A whirly pop?
Yeah, like, yeah.
Is that his actual name?
Pretty sure it's what
That
it's
is
called.
the most masculine cooking utensil ever.
I have a whirly pop. Get excited. Yes. Jeff, yeah, so yes, Jeff says popcorn is the best, and I agree because popcorn is definitely the best. No, Luke, we did not play any Super Monkey Balls last night, unfortunately. I've heard that game was phenomenal, but never actually played. We are all about the Super Smash Bros. So
Never heard of Monkey Balls.
it was a good time. My go-to player is Link, and I do the little like spinny jump move, like
I thought you didn't like. Oh, you don't like Ness, right?
No, I don't like Ness.
Okay.
Ness, the Ice Climbers, Ganondorf. Not a big fan of any of those folks. We had to deal with Dr. Mario.
Who?
Ganondorf? I don't know where he's from. I just know him from Super
What
Smash
is
Bros.
he?
He's a human. He looks, just imagine like a jacked version of Captain Falcon. They call him, at least the guys that I played Super Smash Bros. With, they call him God, just because he literally is like untouchable. Except the three of us beat him last night because we're awesome. Woo! But Ganondorf, I believe, or Ganondor, or I don't know. Which one is it, folks? If you guys are out there, I forget. I never claimed to be an expert in any of this, so don't take my word at this, honestly. I think it's Ganondorf.
I have never seen this. Well, I guess
is it Ganondor or Ganondorf? I don't know which one it is.
Looks like it's Dorf.
Ganondorf. Okay, so there you go. For those that play Super Smash Bros, that's what it is. My go-to. And then you have the people that spawn you or that spam you with like Kirby and all that fun business. But
is he this little ginger guy? Sorry.
Ganondorf. Yes, he's not little though. He's like 6'10" and just massive.
I've
and just
never
wrecks
seen him
people.
before.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, we do wish a very good morning to all of you amazing people. Tiana, Adam, Luke, Dan, Max, many other people that are tuning in as well. Dan says, yes, separation would be so much shorter. Yes, separation would be better, so shorten the season. # please. Yes, I completely agree. Shorten the season. But we all know how I stand on all of that. Any fun business. Luke also says Nashville will take it. Pens will win it all. Depends on Crosby. Interesting. David tells us, he says Ganondorf is from The Legend of Zelda. # nerd status. Thank you, David. Now somebody is helping pay attention so that we have an idea of what's actually going on with Ganondorf. I don't know. I play these games. I don't know who half these people are. I'm just like, woo, it's fun.
But he's not in like the original Super Smash, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know where this. I think he is. I think he's like an unlockable character.
Huh.
So, I don't know. You're talking to a guy that used to play backyard football instead of Pokemon or any of that other fun business. So I really don't know where that all is. In all honesty, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure that's all phenomenal. But I really don't know. But, all right, so yeah, make sure to answer our 2 questions of the day. We'll dive into them a little bit more as we move on. Should cell phones be banned in high schools for high school students? And are Game 7's overrated? We will both answer those questions coming up in just a little bit, so make sure to drop your comments below. We will definitely reference the answers below. Before we get to Max Walpoff, it is time to do What's Brewing here on the Morning Brew, where we talk about some of the biggest things moving around in the sports world this morning. And I think the biggest thing right off the bat, if you are a basketball fan, is the San Antonio Spurs getting the big overtime victory last night, 110-107 against the Houston Rockets. Manu Ginobili coming up with a huge block against James Harden at the bitter end to deny him the potential game-tying shot. And it was fun. It was epic. It definitely gave you what you wanted from a playoff basketball game. Spurs now control their own destiny. They are up 3-2. They did lose Kawhi Leonard last night with an ankle injury, so that kind of plays into some craziness there. But once again, basketball, 7-game series, it kind of blows my mind. I think if we were playing a 5-game series, I think 3-2 is a respectable thing. Now that we still have to go another game or 2, I think it's going to just be like, all right, let's moving, especially when Cleveland and Golden State have already completed the sweeps and they're just sitting around like sipping bonbons and drinking drinks. Like, all right, like what's
sitting
going on?
Yachts and stuff.
Right, taking pictures with their shirts off with jeans on a boat in Miami. Well, that's the Giants. Either way, that's probably what they're doing now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you catch any of this game last night or?
I did not.
Yeah, it wasn't that great, honestly. I mean, for those that were at the game, I'm sure they'll say it was very impressive. I'm sure they'll say that they had a good time with it, but once again, Spurs, very slow, very monotonous, just the style of play that they do. That's just how Greg Popovich coaches. Houston tried to only play with 7 guys last night. They didn't try to use their depth on the bench. So it was kind of a tale of 2 different worlds, and San Antonio ultimately emerged victorious last night. What else do you have brewing for us this morning, Jaymee?
I think I would like to talk about the Winter Classic coming up. They finally announced that it's going to be Rangers Buffalo in New York.
In Citi Field, correct, yes. And I'm sure, Lord knows, Tanner Burke somewhere on his way to Florida right now is probably singing the praises of the Buffalo Sabres. I saw him
You
posting.
guys are going to Florida together?
Well, he's going to he's going to Harry Potter World and
Oh.
Universal and Venice. I'm just going to Naples.
Ah,
So he's
gotcha,
going to one
gotcha.
part of Italy. I'm going to a different part of Italy.
Gotcha.
So I'm going. I told him, I'm like, it's great that you're going to Universal and all that stuff, but I'm going to the most beautiful part of Florida. So you enjoy the tourism and the Asians and all the craziness that flocks. It's true. I've never seen more Asians in my entire life than when I went to Universal.
Oh,
It's
you
unbelievable.
Always hating on the Asians.
I'm not hating on the Asians. I'm just it's a fact. It's a 100% fact. Go to Universal, swing a dead cat. Tell me how many Asians you hit, because you will be just all over.
Is that a saying?
Yeah, like you can't swing a dead cat around here without hitting the thing or doing that. Like you never heard that?
No.
What?
Never.
You've never heard that you can't swing a dead cat? Like, yeah, people. I forget the exact pre-existing context to it, but yeah, like people are like, oh, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Rangers fan, or you can't swing a dead cat around here without
I've
finding
never
a Bears
heard that
fan.
before.
Yeah, or whatever.
Interesting.
Can't find a liberal without swinging a dead cat. Like people are all over that. Yes.
Interesting.
I know. So now you probably have
I'm
never
on
heard
it.
it, but now you're gonna hear it like all the time. Or you're
Yeah.
gonna try to use it and be completely out of
Yeah.
context.
I
like-
love horse peace. Like that's my favorite. I don't understand it, but that's like my favorite saying.
Or like, what is it? Two in the hand is worth one in the bushel, or two in the bush is one in the hand, or something like that. I don't know. That's another one. There's
Maybe
some,
these are like some old people. Like
they are, of course, because like nobody else says huzzah or any of that crazy business like I say, just because that's just how I was raised or whatever. But like, yeah, you've never heard like two, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out exactly what the official saying is. But old sayings, I think it adds a little bit of class to you. I feel like if you can pull that off.
Sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Year 10 of the Winter Classic. Are you excited? Do you care?
I honestly
feel like the
think
teams they picked, I'm just like, the Rangers and Sabres?
I also don't know if the Winter Classic is really worth it. Like, you don't sit in great seats because it's in a baseball stadium. So, like, the rink is so small and the seats are so far back. They don't make seats really up close to the
Right.
rink. So, like, what's the purpose? You're paying the same amount of money you're going to play for a playoff ticket to sit further back
Seems a
and
bit
freeze
more.
your ass off.
Seems a bit much to me.
So, no, I'm not excited.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, the Winter Classic.
Plus, I don't give a shit about the Rangers or the Sabres.
Bang. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Rangers got knocked out by Ottawa last night. I mean, come on.
I have a friend that's a Rangers fan. I was like, oh, God, you guys could go to Game 7 because it's when they were making their comeback. And then he said, don't jinx us. And then they lost.
And did you text him? Be like, ha ha.
I said, sorry.
Just like, sorry, ...
Yeah.
LOL, JK. Anyway, quick check-in on the comments here. Looking to see what all of you amazing people have for us today. Hannah says it's one in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. But what does that mean, though? I don't know what it means. I use it, but I don't know what it means. So if I have one in my hand, it's worth two more than what's in the bush. Why am I by a bush?
Okay, everything I'm finding online, it says the definition of a bird in the hand
A bird in the hand
is
is
worth two in the bush. Used to mean that it is better to hold on to something one has than to risk losing it by trying to get something better.
So you're saying the grass is not always green on the other side? Is that
I
kind
think
of like
so.
what they're saying? So we're
Yeah.
using one analogy to use another analogy, basically?
I guess. Or like what, yeah.
That's interesting. Hannah also says, yay, Jaymee, I'm so happy to see you live. We only met at my brother's wedding, but I'm so proud of you, with lots of exclamation points.
Oh.
Girl,
Hannah.
how are you? I was like, that squeak, I was like, okay. Girl, how you doing? Trevor, good morning to you. Jeff, Zach, Luke, and many others as well still tuning in. Keep the comments coming. Luke says the Rangers game was very pathetic. Yes, I completely agree with you on that one. Jeff says millennials just don't have any good sayings. It's true. I mean, we say things like "bay" and "cash me outside" and "yas," and like we're all about like the one words. Give me one word, and it's just like I'm gonna make it really long.
Yeah.
It's like what? Or or like YOLO. Once again, single word. Like really, like YOLO. Like
I'm
no.
so happy that wasn't long lived.
I'm really glad it wasn't. We all knew it wasn't going to be long-lived, thankfully, but still, I can't even with that one. All right, speaking of hockey, speaking of a man that knows a thing or two about class and also in general, about just about life as a whole. Max Walpoff is one of our great hockey correspondents here on the Brew Sports Network. He conquered a final last time we spoke with him. He's got one standing in his way before he can finally celebrate victory. But more importantly, Jaymee, he cares about Game 7 tonight between the Caps and the Penguins, and he's here with us now. A very good morning to you, Max. How are you this morning?
Doing well so far. Got one last night of studying, and then I'm going to strap myself down and brace myself for a heart attack.
It's going to be a crazy one tonight, Max. 2 Game 7s that I think fans of of all 4 franchises are going to be on the edge of their seats the entire game. But let's focus in on Washington and on Pittsburgh tonight. That's got all the pomp and circumstance around it. Does Sidney Crosby have enough brain cells left in his head to play the game? Is Washington finally going to overcome their playoff woes? What say you? I know you cover Washington. I know you've got that lens on it, but from a non-biased perspective, if you're able to take that hat off for a moment, how do you look at this series, and who do you think is going to emerge from a non-biased perspective?
I look at this series in a similar light to a lot of the analytics community. They've looked at this and said that the Capitals have had the run of play for most of the games. Like games 1 and 2 were Capitals games. However, the Penguins were more opportunistic in the 3 games that they won. However, the Capitals managed to get back in it with Game 5 and with Game 6, playing exactly the same style as Games 1 and 2, except they finally got the bounces to go their way. They juggled the lines a bit, moving Alex Ovechkin to the 3rd line with Lars Eller and Tom Wilson, which has regenerated what was a pretty potent 3rd line in the regular season, whereas the Pittsburgh Penguins have become a little bit offensively stale. They aren't getting dangerous shots on Braden Holtby, and since Game 5, Holtby's been making the saves that he needs to make. Marc-Andre Fleury has been the most important player, not necessarily the most valuable, but most important for Pittsburgh, because when he's not on his game, the Penguins are losing. If he returns to his form tonight and Holtby remains in the form that he's been in, this is going to be a long and drawn-out Game 7 that will result in one lucky shot being the end.
And that's usually how I feel like the playoffs go to an extent. Like there's always that one game, there's always that one moment where it's like, oh, a random ricochet off a skate that hit off the Penguin that happened to be skating through on the ice, and now it's in the goal. It's like, what? Like, I mean, it's crazy. But I know obviously there's more depth to it in that regards. But it is. It's exciting. It's Game 7. People really start to get fired up about this more so, especially when you have 2 premier teams battling it out with each other as well, too, which I think is ultimately what people want. People want a good game at the end of the day, I think. They don't want to see a 5-0 or 7-1 kind of a defeat like you saw the other night from Anaheim taking down with Edmonton, or vice versa, rather. But what can we expect from this game, Jaymee, in your perspective, based off how you've seen these 2 teams play?
I'm really not sure. I think it's going to be exciting. I think that they both want it equally as bad. I think the Penguins want it just because they're the Penguins, and I think the Capitals want to prove everybody wrong. And no one thinks that they're a playoff team. This could be their chance to finally beat the Penguins. I know that we should be rooting for the Capitals for you, but the Penguins are just a really, really, really good playoff team, and they've been here so many times before. And I know a lot of people are really worried with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
But as I was reading up yesterday, how they look at concussions and concussion protocol when they're on the ice, because he slid into the boards and wasn't checked into the boards, or because it was in the boards and he wasn't elbowed in the head, they couldn't really take him off the ice and check him for concussion.
There was a lot going on, though. I've seen the video, too. I mean, someone had to have helped him towards the boards. He didn't just forget how to skate and just go head first into the wall.
But because they didn't, elbow him / or punch him in the face, they weren't allowed to pull him off the ice and evaluate him. Yeah, so they were... NHL Network plays behind me all day.
Long. You hear it, I'm
so
sure.
I tune it out. But that was something I tried to keep up on yesterday because you know, it's still his health that we're a little concerned about. So I think he'll obviously be could be or is a valuable player on their team, and tonight to see how he play will be interesting.
Quick check in the comments fast before we jump back to our correspondent Max Walpoff. Luke says Fleury has come back to his old self, and it could be Evgeny Malkin's night tonight as well. He said Ovi, he just really hasn't shown up at all. Trevor says down with the Pens. He also says Sid the kid's brain is going to be mashed potatoes by the end of his career. So I mean, obviously you don't wish something like that for anybody, but at the same time, for fighting purposes and for bragging rights, obviously you would prefer the other opponent's star player to not show up.
Right.
obviously. But at the same time, you really don't want to wish real bodily harm against anybody, unless you're just a terrible person. That's completely fine. Switching over, yeah, Max is like, I don't know. Anyway, switching over, Max, to the other game 7. How in the world does Anaheim recover after allowing 7 goals? 7 goals. And maybe I'm completely skewed in my opinion, but how in the world do they recover after letting in 7 goals against Edmonton, who didn't even really do much from Connor McDavid that evening? How did we break this down?
Keep in mind that game 6 was a while ago. Hockey players have this dichotomy of a long memory and a short memory. If something really bad happens to you, you tend to remember that one player or take down the jersey number. But if something like that happens, you chuck it in the garbage can and you forget about it and you move on to the next game. And with Anaheim, they have their own game 7 woes. They and the Capitals fans are really a lot similar, where they've had the Bruce Boudreau era team that could always get it done in the regular season, but never seemed to get over the Game 7 hump. Game 7 at home must bring back a nightmare scenario for the Ducks fans. Believe in this team. John Gibson should have a rebound start. He has looked bad the last couple of games, but he now realizes that he needs to be better. And then there's Ryan Kessler. Patrick Eaves could be back. The Ducks really are a good team, and as long as they keep shutting down the high-powered, high-speed, and high-octane offense of the Oilers, I see the Ducks coming out of this.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm gonna go back on my prediction that I thought the Oilers were looking too good, but maybe I'm just starting to believe the Ducks really are a different team when Randy Carlyle is their head coach.
I think I ended up picking the Ducks to advance.
We both,
well.
I think. I think you for sure did. I'd have to check again. I'll have to find the graphics here while we're.
And I think I would rather. I'm really excited for this game, obviously, to see who the Predators will be playing. I agree with you when you say that this last game was a long time ago. It was Sunday. They had a day of travel. They had a day to practice. They're probably going to have a morning skate today, and then they'll play tonight. I think they're going to come back hot. They want it really bad. Everyone's cheering for the Oilers to go on. I think it's going to be an intense, fun game.
I agree. Max, score lines, predictions for us tonight before we let you run here. Game 7s, you got Edmonton, Anaheim, and you've got the Caps, and you've got the Pens. What do you think?
Well, both of them are probably going to be 1-goal affairs where I am strapped to a chair and having a heart attack the entire way. I see the Capitals coming out of this with a 4-2 with an empty netter late, and I see Anaheim coming out of this with I don't even know what the score is going to be. Connor McDavid will probably have a goal, but also I still think Ryan Kessler is going to score to cancel that out. Give me the Ducks 4-3.
There you go. You heard it here
4-3.
first from one of our NHL insiders, the man, the myth, the legend, Max Walpoff. Thanks so much, Max. We wish you the very best. Hopefully you'll be back to join us from no heart attack, from no hospital bed, but
And a past exam.
and a past exam, exactly. So I'm headed to Florida to relax, so I'll think of you while I'm sipping margaritas poolside the rest of the week. But thanks so much, Max. We'll talk to you soon, sir.
Not a problem. Thank you very much, Baxter.
No problem. There goes Max Walpoff, one of our NHL correspondents this morning on the Morning Brew. Some great insight from him. If you have any other comments or thoughts about the hockey playoffs, we're going to pivot away from that here in just a hot minute. But taking a quick look here inside the comments section, make sure to keep them coming. Luke says it really comes down to their defense and shutting down Connor McDavid. In theory, you'd like to think that's the case, but the way that they played the other night without Connor McDavid's adequate contributions, that's the thing that I should be worried about if I'm a Ducks fan.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's funny, too, how when people talk about teams, they always talk about, like, 1 or 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's always Connor McDavid. It's always Ryan Kessler. It's always Ovechkin. It's always Sidney.
Right.
There's a bunch of other people on the
I was
team.
like...
No, there's just a bunch of other people on the team that contribute to what happens. And I don't think it's, if the Penguins lose tonight, everyone's going to be like, oh, it's because Sidney Crosby, ran into the boards the game before, or because...
Right.
Connor McDavid's only 12.
That's what sports is down to now, is all about the 1 to 3 main players on your team. It's never Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Love, any of those guys. It's always LeBron James at Cleveland. It's always Aaron Rodgers at the Packers. It's always Tom Brady. It was always Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez with the Yankees. It was always David Ortiz's team. People live for those people. That's why you have superstars on your team. But I get what you're saying, though. There is a whole cast of characters around them. I mean, if you asked me with a gun to my head, said name 5 Edmonton players, it'd be like Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid. And bang, I'd be done. I'd be like, I don't know. I just don't know, because those players aren't talked about.
Right.
Granted, for those of you that are more in-depth into the world of hockey, of course, you can name more of those players. But from a general media perspective, the average fan has no clue.
Right. And Luke makes a point in the comments here. He says one player makes a huge difference. And yeah, you're right, but it shouldn't be just
right. You shouldn't have to value
him.
one. Yes.
Like if it wasn't for the assist he got before by whomever,
right. Well, I'm waiting for you to pull Nashville into this conversation.
I
because
wasn't
No,
gonna
it's fine.
say it.
I'm waiting for it because I wanted to bring it in because I'm like, name one star on Nashville. You
right.
can't because
they play
you have
so well
numerous.
together.
Yes, exactly. The difference between PK Subban and all the other guys working together at the same time is what makes them so good.
Right. Everyone's not like, oh, and Philip Forsberg, like blah blah blah,
right.
because
you have to
Colton
double team.
Sisson's playing is playing great. Ryan Ellis is playing great. And then you go to the D's, like Roman Yossi's playing phenomenal. PK Subban, like everybody is playing so well and so together, and even like Pekka. And I wasn't gonna bring this in because I feel like it was gonna be biased, so I kept my mouth shut.
No, it's what you know though.
But when people are talking about the Predators, they are talking about the Predators as a whole. There isn't one person on the team. Granted, Pekka's playing, he's a brick wall, like whatever. But they're not only focusing on Pekka. We're focusing on everybody that is a part of that team.
Right.
So thanks for letting me.
No, you're welcome. Glad you got that out. Feel good? Feel better now?
Yeah, because I wasn't going to. Because I was like, oh, God, everyone's probably so
it makes
sick of me
sense,
talking
though.
about Predators.
It makes so much sense to bring that full circle in that regard. So why not engage it? Why not embrace it, you know? So I'm all about it. I'm all about pumping the home team from time to time. I mean, for God's sakes, Tanner does it all the time on halftime. So why the hell can't we talk about the Predators, right?
I was telling Baxter before we went on the air this morning, I was at the Brewers game last night, and I had the update to my phone that the Rangers got knocked out. So I was like, Rangers are out. Woo! And this guy a couple rows behind me goes, go Preds! I was like, yay!
You're like, who are you?
Yes!
Best friend! Yes, thank you. Amazing. All right, Hannah also going back to the comments here earlier from our crazy, stupid sayings. Hannah says, it means, talking about the whole one in the hand, two in the bush business there, she said, it means it's better to have a dead bird in your hand than have a chance at two live birds in a bush. Still don't know if that makes me feel any better. Why would I not want two live birds?
Because you should just be content with your dead bird.
Do I want to eat the bird?
No.
I just am content with a dead bird in my hand.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with this saying, by the way.
It seems a bit strange.
Not only because there's a dead bird in your hand, but because like sometimes like I feel like you're settling. Sometimes you shouldn't settle.
Don't settle.
You're settling for a dead bird. Go chase that live bird. You're not gonna get it because.
Sounds like conversations I've had with you, Jaymee. Be like, don't settle, Jaymee. Don't settle. Be like, but I have this nice dead bird. I'm like, but you could have two live birds over there. No, just want to settle. You walked into that.
I know.
Oh my goodness. All right. Anyway, so Hannah also says superstars make teams. I agree, but the late Hail Mary from Rodgers against the Cardinals was a deep backup receiver. In a sport like football, the Packers are notorious for running deep into their roster late in the season. Yeah, it's because nobody stays healthy. But you're also right, though. That was my 2 seconds of my Packer. Anyway, you're like, we never stay healthy. Over it. Anyway, Josh on Facebook, good morning to you. He also says Caps are going to win in overtime 3-2. That's his prediction for tonight's game. All right, stepping away from sports. I don't think there was anything else sports related that we really wanted to hit on mostly. I mean, we're going to talk about the Game 7s overrated as well, too. Why don't we transition to that? So one of our two questions of the day is, are Game 7s overrated? And some people, as we mentioned, get super hyped about it. Some people are just like, my God, can it end? What say you, Jaymee, officially about if you think Game 7s are overrated?
No, I like.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, you look at Max. He's like, I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat for both games. Thanks. I'm so excited because it determines if, like, whatever. I don't think they're overrated. I think they're fun.
I think the drama of it is really good. I think from a media perspective, if it's not your team, you get really bored with it. You're
right.
like, oh my gosh, it's Game 7. But as a fan, any chance that your team has to keep a possibility of winning and moving on, you're going to be all about it. Doesn't matter if it's Game 4, 5, 6, or 7. If your team has an opportunity to win and move on, you're all in. You're absolutely all in. I've never had to worry about being a part of a Game 6 or a Game 7 series because the teams that I support play a one and done or play a two and done sort of a thing. Soccer, they use 2 legs and then you're done. You don't have to worry about 7 games. Where football, it's a one and done. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, I think in the hockey world, it's good for them because people don't really. Everyone says, I don't watch hockey till it's playoff season.
Right.
So I think
Same
it's
with baseball.
good.
Nobody watches baseball or even basketball for the most part.
Yeah, so I think it's good in the sense that it gives people an opportunity to catch more games once playoffs come around, because then people pretend to care about games 5, 6, 7, or whatever it may be. So I think they're good.
Made me think
I
of
don't
like a
think they're
dance
overrated.
reference, be like 5, 6, 7, 8.
And what?
Anyway, for me, Game 7s, yeah, I don't think they're officially overrated. It just depends on the lens and the chair that I'm sitting in when it comes to that. It's hard for me, I think, to get fully behind Game 7s just because I haven't grown up with Game 7s a part of my sports life, just because of the sports that I've followed.
Right.
So it's harder for me to get on board. But like the drama that is Game 7, from a ratings perspective, from a financial revenue perspective, like that makes total sense. I'm completely on board with that. It's just hard for me personally to get on board with Game 7s from a supportive perspective. So I don't know. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Luke gets after it. He says Game 7s are so exciting. Both teams are playing their absolute hearts out. Earlier, Zach also said Game 7s are the greatest thing in sports. Everything on the line. Win or go home. What's better than that kind of pressure? That's true. That is very true. Zach also answered our question of the day. He said cell phones are necessary now. They're hard to ban in high school. So
Necessary? Why?
that's a very good question. I would like to know your reasoning behind why you believe they're necessary. So this has been a topic of conversation in Wisconsin. I know that there's other states that are doing this as well too. For us here, we have the capital, Madison. They are working in their high school districts, or this their district as a whole, to ban cell phones in high schools, basically, from the student's perspective, because teachers are trying to teach and kids are busy like texting in their pockets. They're busy, just on their phone scrolling Facebook in the middle of the day, and it gets really annoying and it gets very difficult to actually teach the kids. And then they're just like, whatever, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to just futz around, especially now with finals around the corner. People don't really care. They're kind of checked out for the semester as well too. They're like, I just want to scroll on Facebook and Twitter and watch the Morning Brew live while I'm sitting in first period. Nobody actually wants to pay attention to Mr. Green's lecture about Calculus 1. Like, nobody cares. Do you think that this is the right idea, though? Do you think banning cell phones is a good idea? Will it actually do anything to further the education of these students?
Well, one, what does banning mean? Like, is it if you're caught with it, you're getting
written up, detention, all that fun business?
Yeah, I think cell phones should be banned. We weren't allowed to have them in high school, and I mean, I just doodled in my notebook that much more, but it wasn't I think it's, first of all, when you're in a conversation with someone and you're texting, it's rude. Someone's trying to teach you, it's their job.
Right.
To be on your cell phone is rude.
It is. Well, that's the big thing. I mean, now high school students nowadays, too. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of high school students as well, too, from my times working in Cedarburg and a lot of other places, too. And you see the kids, even after the games, on their phones immediately. It's like, okay, I mean, I get it. You're updating your family, your friends. But, in class nowadays, I'd be very curious to hear from kids that are actually in the classrooms now in high school. Because college, we've got our phones everywhere. It's, almost encouraged to an extent because you've got your notes. You're doing all your other fun business. Whatever you've got going on. You're taking pictures of the board.
You're also an adult, so if you want to be on your cell phone when you should be learning, you are choosing to be in college. You have to go to high school.
Yeah, exactly. High school is an absolute requirement. You have to show up. You have to get it in order to go forward.
I think cell phones should be banned in high school, yes.
Interesting. And I would agree with that as well, too. We do say good morning to Brielle and Brandon and others as well tuning in. Remember to answer our 2 questions of the day. Should cell phones be banned in high schools? And our Game 7s overrated. Hannah chimes in on Facebook. She says phones and CD players were never allowed in high school when I was there. Hannah, you just dated yourself a little bit. I went to Sheboygan North High. Yes, I'm aging myself, but that should be banned. I had a cell phone little pocket in my locker, so I would not take my phone to class. I was also one of the last in my high school to get a smartphone.
Locker was also in his backyard.
No, I went to private high school. I went to regular high school for 3 years. Good God. I didn't have a cell phone when I was homeschooled because I didn't leave my house.
Yeah.
So clearly I didn't have a cell phone. But as soon as I started going to regular school, my gosh, you do one thing and you're branded for life. Unbelievable. Anyway, I had a little pocket, a little whatever thing that would
little
sleeve that clipped on the inside. So I would put my phone in there when I'd go to class, come back, check my phone fast inside of my locker, and then you put it back in, class, go to work. But there's literally, I knew girls in high school that would keep their phones back when you actually had the keyboards on your phone before this whole fangled, touch on the screen thing. Phone in their pocket, literally could make eye contact with you, have a conversation with you, and also be texting somebody, and you would never have a clue. And I was like, good Lord. I'm like, all they need is a half glance of their phone screen, and then they can just know exactly where to type.
I can't see in the comments, but whoever said that they are necessary, why? When I was a kid, if I wanted to make plans after school, I would call my mom after school, or I would run home and ask her if I could make
I've
plans.
had numerous times during high school where I would go down to the main office, or you'd get the page like, Baxter Colburn, please report to the office. Okay, you go down. Oh, yeah, what's going on?
And then you walk to your living room.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I'd be like, yes, Mom, you could just have yelled to me. This is why we can't be friends. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I would walk down to the office and, talk to the secretary, be like, hey, your mom's on line 2 or whatever. Oh, great. Good morning. Hey, Mom, what's up? Like, hey, you forgot your lunch today. Do you want me to bring it? Blah, blah, blah. Mom didn't have to text me. Mom didn't have to do any of that fun business.
Right.
If it was really important or something like that, very important. Or like when I found out that my friend passed away when I was in high school. Like she lived in Wisconsin when I was down in Florida. I found out that she died, so I had my mom had me paged at the office so she could tell me on the phone. Like she didn't text me. She didn't tell me anything was going on. She emailed me first because I could get my school email because we had high school emails or whatever. And then once she's like, I need you to go to the office because this happened. So then I went to the office and then she told me that way, like on the phone. So she didn't text me. She didn't try to get me in trouble that way.
Well, and people and like making kids make plans and not being able to be like, hey, Mom, can I go to Karen's house? And text during class.
No, you cannot.
Shows them like a sense of responsibility to like plan and be like that you can't just do everything on like a whim. Like we need to stop being like, but cell phones are, what if I need to talk to my daughter? Like you don't need to talk to her during the day.
No.
Like you don't.
And of course the big thing that people are really jumping on with this cell phone ban, if it actually does end up becoming a bigger thing, is like, what if there's a shooting? What if there's something that happens? What if our children are in danger? How am I supposed to contact them? You trust the teachers and the people that are in charge, the athletic directors, the superintendents, everybody that's there is going to do their job.
Right.
That's what you do. Granted, you can't control everything, but do you really think Susie in the corner with the cell phone is going to be able to respond fast enough?
Because Susie with her cell phone's going to be taking a video and put it on Facebook Live instead of hiding under a desk or whatever you're
like she's supposed to do. Exactly. And this really all kind of stems off of an article that I found from Mashable.com as well, too. Basically, the headline is very intriguing. It says, put your smartphone away, you're missing the entire history of you. Just that headline in general just kind of was like, whoa. Like, it kind of hits you there in the face because... And the first 2 sentences are everything I think that article needs to say. It says, no, you're not that important or that busy. Put your smartphone away and pay more attention to the world around you. Like that's, I mean, obviously you can keep reading on.
Right.
But at the same time, like the next sentence even says, like, better yet, leave your smartphone over there where you can't get to it for a few hours. Like people are so invested in their smartphones.
Sometimes I'll be sitting like on my couch watching TV and then I'll be like scrolling through Instagram at the same time. And then I'm like, ha! And I'll like check my phone. I'm like, why? Just watch the show.
Right.
Like stop caring. Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree.
For it,
Josh says, I had a kid bust out a phone during practice last year when I was filling in on my son's team. Needless to say, it didn't end well. This was a U11 team, he says.
Yikes.
Wow.
Was it in like his
like did he keep it like in his sock or like in his like that? Wow. Yeah, I can't say that there's ever been a time where I've had to worry about somebody pulling out their phone in practice. Like, I get it. Like, usually, like, you're texting, whatever, you got your phone in your bag, like, hey, Mom, or hey, sweetheart, blah, 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 going to practice, drop your phone in your bag, walk on the field.
Go to practice, and then check your phone when you're done.
Right, exactly. But, like, the people that literally, like, okay, guys, water break, like, people dive for their bags to check their phones. It's like, did I miss anything in the 2.6 seconds I was away? Like, dear God, did anybody die? Like... You're fine.
Right.
You are absolutely fine. Like I get it. Like I get anxiety if I like lose my phone purely because I don't for those that follow me, I'm actually awful at social media. I really don't post that much. I really don't document my life very well from a millennial standard. Like I'm not Snapchatting my entire life. I'm not Facebook Living my entire life. I do that plenty here.
Most men are good with social media to begin
Right.
with.
Exactly. But I mean, exactly. But I know others obviously that are like, oh my gosh, like got new kicks, like did this, did that. Like, yeah. Absolutely, I get that people are crazy about that. Or like, oh look, just shot this animal or whatever. Like that's fine. Like some of that stuff, cool. But like, if you want to know what I do with my life, obviously come watch this show because this is the easiest way for me to tell the world what I do. It's half the reason I do it. But at the same time, like, why do we need to document every single second of our life? Like irrelevant stuff. I get it if it has a purpose. I completely do that. Like my wife, I'm surprised for people that don't know who my wife does. She's a fitness coach. She, also works to motivate people and inspire people as well too. So she has to post a lot to not only inspire people, but also continue to tell her story. That makes total sense. It's for her job. It's for what she's passionate about. She's not out here going like, bought a smoothie, went to the grocery store, changed my laundry. Like No one cares.
Right.
But everything has a purpose. If you have a purpose, that makes total sense. But if you're just scrolling on your phone and you're just posting random stuff just to feel relevant and get 12 likes or 13 likes, you're wasting your time.
On your engagement ring.
Yes. It's the easiest way to get like 150 likes, by the way. Absolutely the easiest way. Jeff says phones should be banned in school. Maxine also jumps on. She says, fired up today. Totally agree with the topic. Thanks, Maxine. You're the best. We do say good morning to Jaymee and Jeff and many others as well, too. Hannah is agreeing with you in the comments section as well, too.
Nice.
She says, I agree, Jaymee. Maybe they should actually have cell phones, but maybe give them cell time. It's 2017. They're not going away. Seriously, take 2 or 3 minutes of each class for cell phone time. That might be a little bit excessive for the baby boomer generation, though, Generation X, but maybe things do need to change.
Or when they are going from class to class in the hallways, text then.
Right. Like free text time in the hallways, but then as soon as you get to class, you either got to put in your backpack, your locker, pocket, whatever. If I see it, once class officially starts, done. Because I don't
think they should be in the classroom at all.
No, I don't think so either. I think they should be left outside the door. I think they should be left in a bag by the front of the room. Like that's what you see a lot of times, even with like final exams. Like teachers are like, literally put everything in your bag, put it at the front of the room by the whiteboard. That way you can't even touch anything. You literally have a pencil, a calculator, and your test.
Right.
Like that's it, kind of a thing. And I'd be fine with that. Or even like a cell phone bowl or something like where you walk into class and okay, bloop, drop the cell phone in.
Yeah.
Then you can get it back later at the end of class. Like, all right, class is done. Thanks, guys. Grab your cell phone, be on your way.
Yeah. And no one could be like I don't have a cell phone. Because everyone has a cell phone nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, my parents don't love me. I don't have a
Right,
cell
like
phone.
when
Be
we were in
like,
high school,
BS.
7 years ago.
I
Yeah.
feel old.
I don't think everyone had cell phones then, but everyone has cell
No,
phones
not everybody
now.
did. I knew several folk that I went to high school with, aside from myself. Thank you. Or what would he have been at that point? My 6-year-old brother. Yes, he didn't have a cell phone. He was in the pre-K program at the school that I went to. My God. No, there were other high schoolers that I went to at my real school that did not have cell phones for a while. So there it is. Be that as it may. Keep the comments coming. You guys have been amazing this morning. Good morning to Bill and many others as well, too, swinging by the program. Should cell phones be banned in high schools? Let us know your thoughts. And our game of 7's overrated. We'd love to hear. Baxter and Jaymee here rolling along with you this morning. Also, some other fun things. We saw this a couple of weeks ago. There was a guy on Twitter, Carter Wilkerson, tweeted at Wendy's. He said, yo, Wendy's, how many retweets for a year's worth of free chicken nuggets? Wendy's said 18 million. Okay, pretty straightforward. He says, consider it done. Carter, last time that I saw, is up to 3.7 million retweets.
Really?
3.7. He now has the most retweeted photo on Twitter to ever happen.
Huh.
So it's kind of ridiculous. He said, Wendy's actually tweeted a picture out 22 hours ago, and it says it's now the most retweeted tweet of all time. That's good for the Nuggets, and $100,000 to the DTFA. Consider it done. Hashtag Nugs for Carter. So the Dave Thomas Foundation is for adoption, is dedicated to finding homes for children in foster care. So there you go.
Nice.
So they were able to go out and help out $100,000 for the DTFA, but also Carter got his free nugs for life because he got the most retweeted tweet ever.
Well, Wendy's has gone on like a whole trolling thing.
Wendy's is
on
boss
Twitter.
when it comes to social media.
Yeah. Whoever's running their social media department is hilarious.
I agree.
And is keeping Wendy's cool and in the loop.
In the loop.
They have going back to the Predators. They have like if they score 4 goals in a game, you can take your ticket to Wendy's and you get Frosties for the rest of the season. Yeah. So my best friend, one of the games we went to, they scored 4 goals, so she goes and gets Frosties literally all the time, and she'll snap me like, Frosty number 1, free Frosty number 7. She doesn't abuse it though. I would abuse it for sure. I would go to Wendy's way more than she does, but
Frosties, Frosties, Frosties. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's really funny. Hannah says, I don't have a Twitter, but I've never heard of this, so I may have to have a Twitter just to retweet it. So you guys have a Twitter? I do. I do have to have Twitters, yes.
At Baxter Colburn, at Jaymee_Evers.
Bang. Also at Brew Sportsnet as well, too, if you want to follow the network as a whole. Jeff says, Game 7's, no.
What?
Wow, Jeff. a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
But, Jeff also
drink
says,
some coffee, Jeff.
right, wake up, Jeff. Jeff also says lack of self-control means you just need to ban them during the day. And millennials don't have self-control. Let's be honest. We are the now generation. I will admit that. There's numerous times in even the professional world that I'm just like, can it just happen now? Like, we've got these, like, a couple of deals we're working on right now from a company perspective. It's like, can it just happen now?
Yeah.
Like, I have interviews with people coming. I'm like, can we just interview now? And they're like,
Why does
no.
everything take so much time?
Like, there's so many different things that need to, that is like, just come on, hurry up. It's like, remember that as a kid? We're like, I thought, like, when I lived in Green Bay, driving to Milwaukee to go see, like, the museum or whatever, it was like forever. It was only like an hour and a half drive, but I literally was like, oh my gosh, plan out the whole day, got to go to Milwaukee. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I remember thinking when I was like a little kid that Walmart was far away from my family because I always fell asleep in the car. And then once I was like old enough to understand my surroundings, it was like 10 minutes.
You're like, wait a minute.
This has been a lie.
My whole life.
Yeah, or there was a high school that was on your way to Walmart, and for their homecoming every year, they light like this huge, massive bonfire.
Oh, like with the pallets and such?
Yeah. And so, like, I remember, like, my parents would pull over the side of the road and we would watch it. And I remember thinking that it was, like, in the boonies. And it was really, like,
boonies.
It was really, like, 5 minutes from
It's
our
really
house.
not that bad. It's like, dear God. Yeah, that's definitely how it kind of works. Jeff says, no, Game 7s aren't overrated, but they should be Game 3s. Yes. Agreed. So he's saying, like, Game 7s, in theory, are not overrated, but he's like, you'd prefer them if they were just, like, a Game 3 series. Like, 3-game series instead of 7-game series.
Got it.
I understand that. This is kind of strange. I don't know where people fall on this. I don't know where you fall on this. I don't know if you've heard about this. A member of parliament in Australia has been making the social media world just buzzing all over the place. Larissa Waters, she's the first woman to ever, I mean, I shouldn't say first woman, first person because men can't breastfeed, but first person to breastfeed her baby in federal parliament. And the pictures made a lot of rounds. People have been talking about it in good ways and bad ways because some people are freaking out in general about, like, oh my God, how could you shame yourself by exposing yourself like that in a public workplace, especially in politics. Think about it. Politics and sex, they kind of go hand in hand. That's irrelevant. Anyway, but this situation is very groundbreaking for a lot of things. How did you react to this? Because I still haven't fully put it all together in my head because I had to read the articles. I had to see the pictures a couple of times just to be like, huh. Interesting.
I like to think that I don't think the way most women probably do. So.
You're good at that. You are.
Yeah. So, but I think this is great. It's done. Here's the thing. I have no issue with people breastfeeding whatsoever. It doesn't offend me. I'm not grossed out by it. Baby's got to eat. Feed your baby. You're a mom. That's what you're supposed to do. Do I think that she's doing it in a very classy way. There's a blanket, the baby's over her, she's not offending anybody, whatever. People that are offended by breastfeeding mothers is because their breast is out.
Yes.
That's the issue. And people who are for breastfeeding believe that breasts are looked at as a sexual object or whatever it may be, and that's why people are grossed out by it.
Right.
I think I have a hard time because I've never had to breastfeed anything. And I don't know that we all know that I'm like, no babies, no marriage, whatever.
Unless it's Roman Yossi.
Yeah, then I'll breastfeed all his babies. So I don't know if I can weigh in on this because it doesn't bother me. I think it's great for her. She has to feed her baby. Girl, you feed your baby. You be a good mom.
Right.
And anybody else thinks it's weird, like, it's not, really. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where, I mean, it's very common nowadays. You see people breastfeeding your children.
It's pretty ballsy on
all
her
the time.
part.
It is. Like, number one, why'd you bring your kid to Parliament with you, I guess? I don't know. I'd like to hear that backstory and how that kind of plays together. Maybe her husband and the baby were outside in the common area, and the meeting ran longer than they thought it was, and he probably had to pop in fast and be like, hey, baby's hungry.
And everyone can be like, well, she should have pumped beforehand, like, blah, blah, blah. Like,
wait till you become a mother. Wait till you, like, experience. Like, everybody's kid is different. Like, my son is incredibly well behaved, but there's sometimes that he just didn't want the breast milk. Sometimes he just wanted formula, or, like, sometimes women just don't let down fast enough to, like, allow the breast milk to come out. Like, that happens.
Right.
You can't control your body.
Some babies don't want a bottle.
Some people don't want to breastfeed. Some people don't want the bottle. Like,
yeah. And this baby is young, so.
Right. Exactly.
I think it's great. Good for her. I think it's a step in the right direction. Do I think everybody should breastfeed at their job? No.
Correct.
Should a teacher breastfeed in front of class? Probably not.
Oof. Can you imagine?
Can I don't know how old she is, maybe her mid-30s. Can she breastfeed her baby in a room full of adults? She should be able to.
She should be able to, in theory. Because it'd be like, you guys are here for that. You're not here for what's going on over here.
If I can still do my job and feed my child and it's not actually disrupting anybody, you go, girl.
There you go. Way to be. Checking in on the comments here briefly. Brew says, good morning from D.C. Good morning to you, Brew. Back on the road again, it sounds like. So enjoy and have safe travels up there. Hannah says, I definitely think it should be 5-game series at a neutral stadium for playoff series. That would be interesting. I think that would certainly change the complexion of the playoffs as a whole if you had to pick neutral stadiums.
But I think that's why it gets to go to a Game 5 and a Game 7 because it's not neutral.
Because it's all about the fans.
It gives everybody this. Literally, you get. If you make it to Game 7, the higher seed gets one more game at home. Like, that's what you. That's the bonus for being a higher seed for doing well in the regular season. That's your reward. So, I disagree.
I'm still on the one and done train, but anyway, that's irrelevant to the conversation. Luke says 5 games is what he votes for. Jeff also chiming in. He says discrimination is the better discretion. That's what it is. You know, I went to high school and college and don't know a single thing about English. Discretion is the better part of valor. Agree with Jaymee. Another phrase millennials wouldn't come up with. Suppose that's true. But millennials don't have any discretion.
No.
Say it all.
Yeah. Oops.
Anyway. Robert also says, Jaymee, wishing the Preds the very best. Hope they make it to. I'm glad to hear that they made it to the conference championship. Luke also says, it's very natural. Pumping takes a lot of time and effort. It's true. I've watched my wife breastfeed and then also try to pump as well too. It takes a long time just to even get like 3 or 4 ounces.
And I can't imagine like sticking something to your breast and like pump like a machine, like you're a cow. Like, that's not, like, I'm sure that doesn't make any mom feel
No, it
beautiful.
doesn't. And that's honestly what my wife has said, too. Like, in the beginning when she first started breastfeeding, she's like, I just feel like all I am is a milk machine. She's like, I don't like this feeling. I don't feel like I'm contributing. I don't feel like anything. But they've actually made these, I think, battery-powered things that you can actually take, like mini pumps, like individual per boob, and put them in your shirt, and they, like, trap the milk, and you can go about your day without having to be tied down to a specific area. So you can be pumping on the go. In theory, it's like $400 or $500 for these things, but like you can buy these 2, pop them in, and turn them on or whatever. So that way they're pumping and extracting the milk. So then way you can go about your life. And then it's like, oh, okay, I'm done. Pop them out. There you go. There's my milk in a bottle, and I can go. But I could still have worked at my desk, or I could still have gave a speech for a presentation, whatever kind of thing. Or even just be a mom, clean the house. Like there's like you have to take 30 to 60 minutes sometimes out of your day just to sit and pump 4 to 6 ounces.
Right.
Like people don't have that kind of time, unfortunately, especially if you're a mother at home with a baby. It's crazy. So, but yeah, if you want to spend $400 to $500, I think, on these things, like my wife was like, "Can we get those?" I was like, maybe. I'm like, that seems a bit expensive, but then she obviously didn't end up continuing to breastfeed after a couple of months because her supply ran low, and that just is how it works. Your supply runs out at some point. Sometimes the baby just is like, meh. Beckham's just a super aggressive eater. He just wants to eat all the time. And sometimes your boobs can't keep up with that. So there you go. Be that as it may. All right, moving away from that, quick back check in on the comments. Hannah says it's different divisions, so the higher seed shouldn't matter. Talking about all the craziness that's going on with the playoffs. He says, just like the NFL, home games matter until the final 2 number 1 teams meet each other. That is true. That's the one thing that I do get a little upset about at times is how we see the number 1 seeds in almost every sport continuously make it to the finals because they have the home field advantage, because they don't have to travel. And I get it. There should be perks that come along with being the 1 seed, but there's got to be other things to kind of bring in the other team to make it a little bit more even and level at times as well. I kind of get torn with that sometimes. Do you not agree with that?
I still disagree.
You still disagree? That's fine. I'm glad you have. Robert also says mothers do have to relieve their pain that they have to pump sometimes, or otherwise it hurts. Like you hear women sometimes that are breastfeeding moms be like, my boobs hurt. Like, they really hurt. I need to pump now or I feel like my boobs are going to explode. Like, whoa, we don't need that. Like, good luck kind of a thing. So then you obviously take care of them up and go on their way. But, yeah, kind of crazy. So, all right, Jaymee, what else do you have for us this morning before we duck out of here? Because I know that there's been all kinds of crazy stuff going on that I just want to make sure that we hit on all the fun business this morning.
You know, I think maybe that's all I have.
That's all you have?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the games tonight, obviously. I really want the Ducks to win.
Yes.
Although I talked to Robbie Stanley the other day.
Robbie!
He's all for the Oilers. He wants them to win. To play. the Preds.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I was like,
sorry.
Robbie, like you cover the Predators.
No, to play the Preds, but I think I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say I want the Ducks.
Interesting. One other thing I wanted to bring up, and you put this in the show notes, but you must have glanced over it, is something that you might be able to partake in tonight while you're watching some of these Game 7s. A Danish brewery turns music festival pee into beer. Yes, you heard that correct. Brewers in Copenhagen have collected thousands of liters of urine to fertilize the hops that would eventually become this Pilsner beer. And I know, cheeky. And it's a process they call it beer cycling.
I don't know if I would drink it.
That sounds horrid. I'm never going to be able to look at beer the same now.
I get it, like it's sanitary and clean and whatever, but like just the fact that...
That sounds...
No, thank you.
Awful. Absolutely awful. Why in the world?
This is like some weird hippie hipster.
It is. Like the hipsters are going to be all over this now. Be like,
Yeah.
I'm conserving. Like it's like a yellowish bottle. It looks like you're horribly like dehydrated. It's.
I also want to know where they got the pee from. Like.
Right. They got.
Can everyone pee in this bucket today? Because we're going to make beer out of it tomorrow.
Right. And the people on Twitter as well have been like, just to clarify, the hops were fertilized with processed urine. They were not pouring piss into the vats, says John Jake on Twitter. But still. And then also Joshua, it's funny to see some of these tweets about they say, who the bleep is going to drink beer they brewed from urine they collected at a music festival, and who had this idea and why? So many questions. It's true. Why?
Also, people
who
who
came
go
up
to
with
music
this idea?
festivals, their urine is not just like pee. Like there's probably some traces of like acid. And
Right. There's a lot going on in that.
A little bit of, I don't know, Molly in there.
Oh, yeah. Molly and Monica and Schwashel and Buckland, and I don't even know what the hell else.
A gentleman named Jeremy said that someone did the similar for a documentary a few years ago, but it was with nasty duck pond water. It grosses the general public out and draws attention, but it's scientifically sound, demonstrating why folks choose fermented beverages over water during periods lacking adequate sanitation. If you want to ruin all the fun, most water sources probably have urine in them before it gets to the water treatment plant anyways.
Jeepers. Jeff says, already used cow poop as fertilizer, so it's no big deal. Might as well just keep going with it. And Hannah also says millennials came up with that idea. Probably. Stupid millennials. It's embarrassing some days, honestly. I can't willingly do it. Part of me wants to order it and have Tanner and I drink it.
Yeah,
just for a segment, and not tell him.
Yeah,
okay,
good. You guys can
got a new beer. Why don't you try it out? I guarantee it'd be one of those classic. Be like, oh, by the way, you're drinking pee. He'd be like, like it would be phenomenal. Probably won't do it, but if we can drink the unicorn frappuccino from Starbucks, I think we can drink a piss beer or a Pilsner.
Pilsner.
Like I'm gonna go to a bar now and be like, I'll have your house Pilsner, please. Be like, you mean a Pilsner? Be like, no, your Pilsner. Be like, oh, and a lot of bartenders would be like, oh, I'll give you a Pilsner, and probably give you the real business there, but no, thank you. Absolutely no thank you.
I tried to look it up to see if we could buy it, but we can't.
You can't buy the Pilsner?
Well, everything just comes up as a Pilsner.
Did you search for like Danish Pilsner?
Yeah.
Bottles are weird looking too. Pilsner Brewery in Denmark uses 40,000 liters of music festival pee for the new craft beer. Beer pick of the week.
Yeah, nope, can't buy it.
Couldn't have done it.
If it goes on sale, I'll buy it for you.
No, thank you. If there's bars in the Milwaukee area that start serving Pilsner that is recycled from the Danish music festival pee that people made, I mean, I know James is tuning in. I know James owns a pub down in South Milwaukee. James, I don't believe you would ever sell Pilsner beer, but maybe. And I'm not purposely pronouncing Pilsner wrong. Like it literally is called Pilsner.
Yeah.
It's made from 40,000 liters of pee that was collected at a music festival in Denmark. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Hard pass.
Yeah, exactly. Robert also says millennials also came up with the idea to have spring and fall. We'd be so lost without them. Did we? I thought that's been around for a long
I
time.
think that was Mother Nature.
Pretty sure Mother Nature had decided that. So I don't know. Maybe Robert's been having too many Pilsners already this morning. But all right, Jaymee. Well, we have to get out of here. It is 8 o'clock. It's time for us to wrap things up and duck out of here. Any closing thoughts or anything from you before we let you run?
No, I think. Sorry, my dad commented.
What did you say?
What about the coffee beans that monkeys eat and crap out that people use?
Wow, people are stupid.
I'm surprised you knew about that, Dad.
You, big Kenny.
He doesn't drink coffee, so.
What?
Yeah. He's just high on life.
Ken.
Just drunk on love. I don't know.
From his amazing favorite daughter.
That's not it.
Does he have another favorite daughter?
No. He's got a pretty cool wife, though.
That does help.
Yeah.
I guess.
But, nope.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we'll keep it here for Brew Sports. We got some more great programming coming up for you today. Coming up at 10 a.m. Central Time is Two Up Front with myself and Simon Provan for all you soccer lovers out there. And at 11 a.m. Central Time, Mitch Vomhoff sits in for Tanner Burke on halftime with myself today. I vowed yesterday that I was going to cut Mitch's man bun live on the air. I don't think he's going to actually go for it, but we'll at least try. I'll bring the scissors. We'll see what happens. So come back at 11 a.m. Central Time for halftime to see if I can actually cut Mitch's man bun or if I get face planted into the table or something if he tries to fight me back. Either way, thanks so much for swinging by. Remember, all of our shows are broadcast live here on Facebook, on our Facebook page. Invite your friends to check us out. Go to YouTube, hit subscribe as well to find all of our videos there, and on Spreaker.com as well if you want to be a listener instead of a viewer. Totally fine. Go check it out.
We understand.
We do. There's a lot going on. Sometimes you don't want to look at us. You'd rather listen to us. That's completely fine. We got podcasts, all that fun business. Thanks to everybody that chimed in as well, too. Trevor, Luke, Robert, Hannah, Sarah, Brew, everybody that was getting in after us. Trevor says, go Predators, and enjoy the great show today. Thanks, Trevor. We appreciate it. You guys are the best. We'll talk to you again on Monday. No shows for the Morning Brew tomorrow or Friday. I'm off. Jaymee's off. Tanner's off. The whole network's off. We're just taking a mini vacay just to rest and recharge and come back bigger and better than ever on Monday.
Tanner's going to hang out with Asians. Baxter's going to hang out with his baby. And I'll be in Milwaukee.
And you'll be drinking excessively. She didn't deny it. She said she didn't deny it. So there we go. For Jaymee Evers, I'm Baxter Coleman. Thanks so much for tuning in to The Morning Brew. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. It's hump day. Get excited. The weekend is almost here. We'll see you guys next time on Brew Sports. Enjoy your Wednesday, everybody.
3, 2, 1.